Former U.S. President Donald Trump arrived in Milwaukee, where he will be formally nominated as the Republican presidential candidate later this week after surviving an assassination attempt that aggravated an already bitter U.S. political divide. Trump was holding a campaign rally in Pennsylvania, a key state in the November 5th election, when shots rang out, hitting his right ear and leaving his face streaked with blood. One person in the crowd was killed and 2 others wounded. Secret Service agents fatally shot the suspect. Trump is due to receive his party's formal nomination at the Republican National Convention, which kicks off in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on Monday. The FBI said there were no known threats to the convention or anyone attending, while the Secret Service said they do not anticipate any changes to the security plan. And India's Mitch McCann reports for more from New York. Take a listen.
The United States, where it has been a dramatic 24 hours with plenty of developments into what has happened here to Donald Trump after that assassination attempt, as the FBI are calling it, yesterday in Pennsylvania. Now, Joe Biden, as you say, has addressed the country and he really pushed the sentiment that people across both sides of the aisle are trying to put across to the American people that it is time for unity. Now, this Oval Office address is only done in very serious matters. There was one after the war in Gaza began last October, and there was one tonight, of course, about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. And here's a little bit of what Joe Biden had to say. He said it's time to lower the temperature in our politics. He said we must not go down this road in America. And in the speech, he also said we compare and contrast the character of candidates, the records, the issues, the agenda, the vision for America. But in America, we resolve our differences at the ballot box. So that's something that Joe Biden and Donald Trump and Republicans and Democrats are all trying to put across to the American people. It's time to lower the temperature and it's time to come together for now. Some reporting that those candidates rumored to be in the running for the vice candidacy have had extra Secret Service protection added to them and their families after what happened yesterday. And Donald Trump, has just given a short interview to the Washington Examiner newspaper talking about the convention. And I want to read you a quote of what he has told the Washington Examiner. He said, "The speech I was going to give on Thursday was going to be a humdinger. Had this not happened, this would have been one of the most incredible speeches, aimed mostly at the policies of President Joe Biden." Donald Trump says, honestly, it's going to be a whole different speech now. And you can imagine after what happened yesterday, the whole country will be watching the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee this week.
Well, Trump supporters held a get-well-soon vigil near Republican convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, wishing for former president's speedy recovery. The atmosphere was marked by a sense of solidarity and hope as participants shared their admiration for Trump and their concern for his health. Donald Trump arrived in Milwaukee on Sunday, where he will be formally nominated as the Republican presidential candidate later this week. And for more, we have Dr. Rajan Kumar, School of International Studies, JNU, joining us. Dr. Kumar, welcome to DD India.
Thank you.
Dr. Kumar, I just wanted to know, first of all, that Trump's assassination bid actually opens a dark chapter in America's political history. What do you have to say about the current scenario in U.S. politics and the presidential race?
Thank you for having me here. I think this is a very decisive moment for American politics. As you see that, this was a crucial moment, and the fight between the two candidates was very, very fierce already. And it was almost bordering on what you call hate speech from both the sides. And now you have this incident, and there are a few things that would be, that would decide the character of politics in the coming days. First would be the motive of the killer. This Thomas Matthew Crooks is the name. As you know, he has been identified.
Yes.
He's a 20-year-old, he just left college a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And interestingly, as per the reports of U.S. media, he was also registered as a Republican voter. So that's very interesting because, some of the people from the Trump campaign side, they started saying that there's some conspiracy, that why did this happen at this point of time, etc. But it gets more interesting and also murkier because that killer, that Crooks, was registered as a Republican citizen, Republican person. So that would be, and he was and also because in many cases earlier we have seen in the case of Reagan's assault in 1981 that the person had the attacker had a mental health issue.
Yes.
In this particular case, it is being said that ostensibly he didn't have any mental health issue.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was also registered with a sportsman rifle club in Pittsburgh. It's the investigation would be on, but from the Republican side, especially in the social media, expect a lot of conspiracy theories which would emerge, which are already emerging, but again, this will intensify in the coming days. And the American society, as you know, is completely divided at this moment, and that's exactly the reason that your reporters are reporting from New York, and they are saying that all the Democratic leaders, especially Biden, is urging some kind of unity from the people because they expect more violence.
Right.
They expect, yeah.
Right. Also,
So,
as you said, Dr. Kumar, there was a very, very fierce fight going on between the two leaders. So, as you was about to say, is it a sensible move by Biden to appeal for calm and his campaign team to halt the verbal attacks on Trump right now at the moment?
I think what America needs at this moment is in kind of revival, or at least the faith in the democratic process. What has happened recently that people have lost faith in American institutions. Some of the people, especially from the Republican side, they think that Trump is being targeted. The way people think that the hush money trial in New York, the way it was conducted, probably it was an attempt by the Democratic side to kind of indict him, to send him to jail. So the trust in the public institutions is very, very low, and we have seen it earlier in the case of January 6th attack on the Capitol. That restoring the faith and the trust in public institutions and also in the presidential process, the democratic process, where it allows it provides you the space to disagree, but it does not provide you the space for kind of assault and violence.
Right.
But unfortunately, America is crossing that line, and people have lost faith in the democratic process, and there is a fear. And there is a real fear that there might be more violence because of this kind of incident. So that's why President Biden is trying to send a message that this is the time that all of us should be united. The Biden campaign team has also withdrawn some of the campaign, the strategy which were strategies which were targeting the Trump personally. So they'll have a different strategy now, where they would focus much more on policies and try to send a message of unity rather than targeting Trump at a personal level.
All right, Dr. Kumar, also to put it in perspective, what could be the impact of the attack on former President Donald Trump? Could this be a turning point in his White House bid? If
we were to believe the previous cases where such kind of attacks took place, and immediately we saw a huge surge in sympathy votes. We have seen that in India,
right,
when our leader was assassinated. We have also seen in the case of United States when the Reagan was the attempt was made on Reagan, and people say that just immediately after the attempt, for some time there was a 20% more support for Reagan because of that attack. So expect a lot of surge in sympathy votes for Trump at this moment, and Trump will use this attempt, this incident, as an opportunity to mobilize more voters, especially in 6 states which are known as the swing state, and in those swing states where people, a good number of people, 10 to 15% of people, are not decided. So this will have an impact on those voters. So clearly, in my view, the moment is very favorable for Trump. Also, on the other side, you'll expect that the Biden campaign will change its strategy. It will appear meeker now, and the kind of visuals which are being used by the Trump campaigners. So they are putting the image of his courage, bravery. That even when he was attacked, he came out very bravely, and he pumped his fist on the air, saying that fight, etc. So those images would be used by Trump campaign to portray that this is the leader who will stand even during the crisis, who is not scared of even being assassinated. And that puts Biden in a very difficult situation, because there are already doubts and suspicions about Biden's mental equity, about Biden's mental fitness, his strength, his age, etc. So
Right.
putting that image against Biden, it clearly gives advantage to former President Trump.
Also, Dr. Kumar, Republican senators and many others are right now raising their voice that the shooting was not just some isolated incident. As he said, that the central premise of the Biden campaign was that Trump was an authoritarian fascist who must be stopped at all cost. So that rhetoric led directly to President Trump's attempted assassination. That's what is being said. How do you see that? Will the rest of the campaign be softer, much softer now?
I think Biden, as you can see from the messages coming from the Biden side, so Biden is sounding apologetic. He is apologetic because, the Secret Services, which were
Right.
actually expected to defend him, the Secret Service, which is the most powerful service in the world, and Secret Services could not defend, former President Trump. And Trump is provided 24-hour security by those services. And this is happening when, in a context where Trump was already leading by some margin vis-a-vis Biden. So that kind of that gives a kind of, that will fuel the conspiracy theories from the Republican side. Well, they'll try to piece it together, and they'll try to say that this was a deliberate attempt by the other side. But yes, the Biden administration would be much more defensive, and they're already apologetic, and they fear some kind of violence. And that's why Biden is trying to give a very clear message to the American people that this is the time to be united. This is the time that we discuss about that. We disagree, but the violence is not acceptable in American democracy. But American democracy has come to a point where transition has become extremely difficult. The last transition, when President Biden was taking over from Trump, so you saw that transition was that led to Capitol attack, and Trump was not condoning the violence. So that kind of transition is again going to be difficult,
Right.
and that is leading to kind of it reflects a kind of deeper kind of the problem that has crept into the American society, where the society is very, very polarized, and there are factions within both Democrats and Republicans who carry very extremist view. They in a way endorse violence, although not directly, but indirectly kind of they endorse violence, and they think that America has reached a point where the silence and the subtle diplomacy is not going to work.
All right. Amidst all this, Dr. Kumar, Trump is due to accept his party's formal nomination at the Republican National Convention with a speech on Thursday. Is the speech now expected to be different and more toned down, as Trump has also categorically mentioned this?
Yes, as your reporter from New York was reporting just now, so Trump himself, it seems, or Trump's campaign team has said that his speech now is going to be very, very different, because Trump initially was planning to target Biden on his policies, on his programs, on his failures, but now it seems that what he's going to say essentially that America is under attack. Because if the former president is cannot be protected, so just imagine the situation of an ordinary person, and how did we reach to this point? And he'll blame the other side directly or indirectly, the Biden administration and the Democratic side, for this kind of assault. So his speech would be much more personal, targeting Biden and very subtly his administration. I don't think he'll sound very presidential. He'll also try to give some kind of message of unity. Yes, he'll do it, but the rhetoric between the Trump side is going to be much more vicious now, and expect a lot of change in the speech in today evening or tomorrow in India. So the speech that we'll see.
All right. Transition is quite imminent, as you said. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Kumar, on DD India.
Thank you.